All good faces. Hello, everybody, and welcome
I'm living for your fro, Nick. It's so good. Sorry.
to Wacky Wednesday. This is TJ's Corner, and I am your hostess, Gigi.
With the mostess.
Yeah. I have been Miss 3D+U, and I'm so excited to have this opportunity to interview somebody who I absolutely not only adore but respect, look up to, and I'm just so happy and proud to be in his shadow, helping build on what he's already built here at 3D Theatricals, along with the rest of the Dawsons. Ladies and gentlemen, TJ Dawson.
I love you, Gigi. You're the best.
Oh, thank you. Well,
I love all of the golf applause. It's so good.
Isn't it the best?
It's so good.
It is the best. Well, you guys, this is just a kind of an opportunity for those of us, we may have known TJ for a long time or have worked for the company, but this is an opportunity. I'm going to ask a few questions, and throughout, if you have a question, just raise your hand up and I'll unmute you. This is the time to ask this, who I think TJ is the future of regional musical theater. He is that's what he is. He's a visionary, and because of his passion for the truly American art form that is musical theater and Broadway musicals, and bringing them to our community bigger and better than what some have seen on Broadway.
Hey.
This is our time to just kind of pick his brain a little bit. So TJ, for those of us who don't know, why don't you give us a little bit of background? How did you find yourself getting into the arts?
Into the arts? Oh, in
yeah,
general.
and singing. How did you discover you had this talent to sing and you wanted to perform? What drew you here?
Okay, so this is, first of all, everyone, this is so weird for me. I love to moderate. I used to have to go out from, the curtain speech that I make before a show, if you've seen a show for 3D or done a show for 3D, I'm always the actor back there going like, oh God, get on with it. Like, let us just do the show. Like, I hate curtain speeches. And I used to have to go out. In our first venue, we had a bar right outside the stage door. So I literally would have the bartender like get me a vodka tonic, and I'd throw it back before I'd have to go and like speak, because I hate doing curtain speeches, and it's so hard for me. Put me as a director or as an actor or whatever. Like I'm fine doing the curtain speech, but I don't like talking about myself. It's just like so weird.
Well,
so,
get over it.
I know. So here we go.
So just give us a little background. I mean, everybody has their journey.
For me, unlike most, especially like girls have to start so young, so often when they dive into this business. But for me, I was in choir and did things like that as a kid, and developed like my voice and my ear, and that's why I have such a passion for like a cappella music and do stuff for like West Beat and stuff like that. But my theater career didn't really start until I was a freshman in high school, because when I went onto campus, every coach on campus like surrounded me, because if you've never seen me in person, I'm a big dude. I'm 6'4". I am not a small person, and every coach was like, "You're gonna play for my team," and they all thought I was a senior transfer, and that I was just a dumb jock because I was in freshman classes, but I was actually a freshman. And in like, I was like, no, I'm a freshman, but I was just such a big dude. And my grandfather was a college football star and had debilitating injuries from playing that sport. And my mom refused to sign the release form. So I, much to the coach's dismay, did not play any sports. And for me, I wasn't raised in a sports household really. So I was like, okay, I just wanted as a freshman somewhere to belong and a community. And I was going to a new school where I didn't know but maybe 4 people. And so anyway, my then friend and now wife told me to audition for the Performing Arts Academy that they had there. In Orange County, there's OSHA and there's APA, and APA was on the campus that I was actually going to at Huntington Beach High School. And so I did, and because I'm a guy, I don't think it had anything to do with talent. I got in, and I developed myself along, obviously, with the faculty there, but developed my love and passion for what we do here. And actually, they were. I was always, I didn't realize it, but always a producer and a director at heart, because I always was getting into the teacher's business. And I was like, you know what you really should do? Or you know what? Or maybe, and then it became to the point where they finally were like, do you just want to direct this show? And so like I would often like ghost direct or be alongside the faculty. And then I was the very first alumni. The year after I graduated, I came back and directed a show there. And so that's they kind of gave me my start and understanding my love for actually producing and for directing. So that's how I started, Gigi.
Well, that's great. That's the answer to my question. Well, everybody starts somewhere. You are. I mean, that's the thing. You look at TJ, if you see him in the lobby, and, you go, wow, he's a big guy. You don't expect him to be so, that beautiful voice. When you, in Shrek, was really the first time for me that I had ever seen you perform.
Oh.
And I had, heard you with West Beat a little bit, but to nothing like that. And I was just like, oh my God, that's my boss. That's my boss. I mean, I was just so I was just so blown away. And I'm sure for those of you who saw Shrek, it was such an amazing production. I mean, and you got to work alongside your own Fiona, Miss Jeanette, who was equally is just wonderful. It was just a great cast. So
it was a lot of fun.
But it's just so great to see that that's where you started, and now look at you now. You're not just like in Shrek, you were working alongside the director and the production team as the show's producer, and then also the lead. So talk us through that kind of process, now that you're a grown man and you're a full-fledged theatrical producer, director, performer, all-round talented man. The hats that you have to wear, it must be daunting, especially in that kind of situation in Shrek when you have to switch, so you're in your Shrek makeup and costume, sweating buckets, and yet people are asking you, gee, what do we use this? Do we use that? Go through that process. What is that like for you?
Wow. Oh my gosh, David Lamoureux is coming on. Oh, this is great. David Lamoureux.
Well, his check cleared, so I let him in.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I don't honestly suggest doing that. It was crazy because you just never have a minute to really truly just focus on yourself. I don't perform anymore, and I say that because I don't. But it was a once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to do that with my wife and my brother. And we wanted my sister to do it. She's on here somewhere, or was on here somewhere, and she declined. But and then my son, my oldest son. So it was just, there she is. Yeah. Declined such an offer. It was really, really, an incredible experience to do that. But as far as wearing all those hats, the first time I got to do it twice, both, I've done Shrek several times, but 2 times for 3D. And the first time I was very hands-on up to starting rehearsal, and then I really removed myself because I really just wanted to be an actor. And actually I shouldn't have done that. It was a learning process for me. And so second time I felt like the right amount of hands-on because I still needed to just worry about me, but I would still weigh in heavily, especially our director was having a baby, so had to leave during tech week, and we had a whole infrastructure that was in place for that. And it was great. It was great teamwork and a lot of fun, but it was daunting and tiring. And especially with Shrek, it's 3 hours of makeup into the show, and then you do the show, and then it's an hour out of makeup. And so you never see, you're the first one there, you're the last one gone, you never see anybody. And then you're the lead, the title role, but you're not the person that anybody really cares about because they all are like, oh, Fiona, and oh, Farquaad, and oh, Donkey, and you're just there to be the straight man. And I love that. And it's it's amazing, but you know, it's a very
Well, I would imagine a daunting task. Just there's so many. You just had to not just your role to think about, but you were, you know, and I know as being part of your team, we're thinking about the marketing and box office, and you know what goes on in the office, and dealing with everybody, the production team, and all the little things that goes down. I mean, this buck stops with this gentleman.
Yeah.
And you know, to do that while you're playing such a role, you know, it just goes to show it's when you're a good leader, you have to delegate.
Well, yeah.
Tell us how much you trust in your the people
well,
you
that's what to say is
yourself with.
That's the key, is that my team is everything, you guys. I hated the name. But there was a special meaning behind it, obviously, that most people know. But in case anyone doesn't, is that, and this is not why I hated it. I was outvoted, and who likes that? But it's basically like my wife and I share a D, and my brother is a D, and Gretchen and her wife are a D. So, but initially it's really the 3 Dawson siblings, and is what 3Ds are. And most people were like, where are my 3D glasses? And I can't tell you, like initially, like in curtain speeches, I was like, everyone please reach under your seats for your 3D glasses. And they would. Oh my God. I was like, you don't even know what you're here to see right now. It's already in. It's like, anyway, it was crazy. So we started in 2008, my wife and I, and then very close friends, one of my best friends, Cammie Seymour, who was our original associate artistic director, position we actually no longer have, but she and I and her husband and Jeanette, we all sat around a table and we were like, let's start up a theater company. There was all these theaters that were closing, and it was like, let's take over the old Elizabeth Howard's curtain call dinner theater, or let's do this or that or whatever. There were so many different things that we thought about. And ultimately I was working in a family business, selling oil well tools. And I was, you know, I gave it a good go, and I was like, this is not me. This is not my soul. I can't do it. So I said, I need to get out, and I need to risk everything and just kind of pursue my dreams. And so anyway, eventually, like, Daniel and Gretchen kind of got roped into it, and they were on board and wanted to do it as well. And Gretchen has been on tour and working at Disney, and has been kind of working with the company on the outskirts. But Gretchen has been very instrumental in the day-to-day from the very beginning, and really helped take our marketing and our all of that, our online presence, and working on budgets and all that stuff. She's been instrumental in that. But anyway, so we started up, when the economy took our last time we took a big tank, in 2008, we started in 2009, and at a time where it was crazy, like now, and started up a theater company, and started in Santa Ana at this insane, amazing space. It's now owned by OSHA.
The OC Pavilion, wasn't it?
Yeah, the OC Pavilion. It was so cool, you guys, because if you had never been there, on the top floor was a 5-star restaurant that was insane, called Ambrosia, and they had like these different themed rooms, and it was insane. It was like going to like Club 33 at Disneyland or something. If you've never been to that, just imagine what that would be. And it was like that. And then you go, and it was an old bank building. So that was on the top floor. And then you take the elevator down, see a show. And then afterwards, there was the vault, which was the club after the show. And it was like a bar. And it was in the old bank vault, which they still had, and had all these amazing leather couches everywhere, and like high tops and all this stuff. And so you could go down after the show, mingle with the cast, and have a drink. And it was amazing. So we were offered to buy the building as first position before OSHA. And we declined. We'd only been there at the time for 3 shows by the time that started becoming a conversation. And we were like, we're not confident that this is where we need to be for the rest of our time. So we said no, and then it was perfect. It should have gone to OSHA, because it's right across the street from there, and it's perfect for them. And so that was great. So anyway, FCLO unfortunately announced that they were going to be closing, and we went to FCLO and we're like, would you be up for us taking over your season? And so we produced the season they had already announced, and all their subscribers had paid for it. We stepped in and produced it and didn't take any money, didn't ask any of the subscribers who had already paid to pay again. So they all had paid but saw the shows, according to us, for free, because it was for us investing in the community and investing in you know, a new audience base, essentially. So from there it spiraled and snowballed, and now we are, you know, calling Cerritos our home, which is, it's been a crazy fast ride these last 10 years. So
Well,
yeah.
you've done more than that. I mean, you went from the OC Pavilion to Fullerton, and like you said, you took over for, you know, unfortunately Fullerton couldn't finish out their season, so you stepped in and offered for these folks not to lose heart or faith in their local musical theater company, and to see what 3D had to offer, and got those people to the fold as subscribers. And then you also went out and reached out to the South Bay City.
Actually, they reached out to us, which was kind of
Okay.
cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so South Bay had gone away. Civic Light Opera of South Bay Cities was run by few
So,
people, but
yeah.
the end was James Blackman, who there was a obviously very public and infamous story. I'm not spilling any tea at the moment. Vacated and just completely abandoned ship, and it was devastating to that community. And they were producing really great work, and it was a really big work, and they were kind of like one of the main, if not the main, for a period of time, CLOs here in Southern California. So it was a devastating loss. I mean, they were paying at the time, like 10 years ago, they were paying their non-equity people like $700 a week, one of my friends was making. So, I mean, they were paying like good money, but they're no longer, because they were spending a lot of money that they didn't have, unfortunately. So it was, the city they went without any programming for like a year and a half, any musical theater at all, or 2 years, something like that. And then they saw our program. They loved the fact that we had, like, one of our seasons had Sound of Music and Avenue Q in the same season. And they were like, whoa, like, you're doing such diverse programming. You're like, yeah, we really want to do something for everybody, you know, like something for the grandparents and something for the new generation and everyone in between. So they asked us, based on our programming, if we would tour our shows to South Bay. So then we did a 3-week season in the heyday. We did a 3-week season in Fullerton, and then did a 2-week season in South Bay. And so we had a 5-week run, which was amazing. But then then it went from like a 3-week run in Fullerton to a 1-week run in South Bay. And unfortunately, simply because I'm a large white man, as was James Blackman, I had all of his old subscribers coming up to me saying, "Where's my money? You stole money from me." And I was like,
I have witnessed this. Yes.
I was like, I'm not this man. Oh my gosh. And they thought I was him.
It was tough. I remember going out, pardon me, I didn't mean to interrupt, but going out in the community in the South Bay representing 3D and talking about the shows coming up, I'd have so many people, you guys stole money from this community. And I'd have to say, that wasn't us.
Yeah.
It was really daunting. It was a black cloud over what our work.
We are not the same company. I am not James Blackman. Like, we just kind of had to keep spreading word of mouth. And it unfortunately just didn't grow fast enough, big enough for us to justify the cost of doing shows there. So we, at the same time, while we were still there and hadn't made this decision yet, we left Fullerton because Cerritos, which is just my favorite venue, and there's a lot of beautiful venues in Southern California. I've performed in many of them, from the Pantages to, which is its own thing. That's like a piece of art, like you can't really compare. But places like the Carpenter Center and La Mirada Performing Arts Center, both beautiful. But Cerritos is just insane. It's
just amazing.
Unbelievable.
I'm so lucky to be there.
When they came knocking on our door, asking, they had seen one of our shows, and they were like, "You're doing better work than the non-union tours that we're getting, and so would you consider coming?"
Did you give them a big duh?
Yeah,
When they
I
said that
did.
to you?
Trying to make a
No,
long
duh.
story short, but yeah, I did, and it was 14 months of negotiations, and then we went into our now amazing relationship with them. Eventually, they asked us to become exclusive to them because Cerritos and well, South Bay or Redondo Beach and Fullerton made sense because they're far enough apart. And as we all know here in LA, like if you don't live 10 minutes from each other, I see my friends in New York more often than I see my friends in LA. So unless they're working for me, it's really, really hard to get people in LA to drive anywhere. So they were far enough apart that we weren't really competing with ourselves. But once we moved to Cerritos, we were really competing with ourselves for audience. So we decided to go exclusive with Cerritos and just be all in one location, which has actually helped a lot because now people are like, they used to be like, are you the company that's in, where are you again? Like it was just hard because our roots weren't really, we were moving so often.
Right.
So now we feel like we have our roots planted, and it's been, this last year has been really significant in our company's history. So.
Well, and just the shows are just so amazing. One better than the next. Let me ask you about shows and choosing the seasons. You know, as the company's artistic director, you know, you're the visionary as to, you know, what people don't understand is that you put out a season and they think, oh, we just decided it's those shows, but they don't realize we couldn't get the rights to this fell out.
There's so much that goes into it.
We couldn't get a set for this and that. Kind of talk about what goes into really choosing a season.
Sure. So yeah, there's so much that does go into it. Basically, like all of us out here are all competing for the same shows. And so we all go out to New York, we see what's coming down the pipeline, what's closing, what's going to go on tour, what's not going to go on tour, how long is it going to go on tour. There's so many things that are questions, you know, about all that. And then for a long time, there was one theater company that was getting like every title, like, and we were not, you know, we were, and there would be sometimes promises made, and then the guy who was one of the main rights people, he unexpectedly died, and he had made some promises to different theater companies that all kind of like went to hell in a handbasket when that happened. So anyway, there was one company that was really kind of getting everything, and everyone else was getting the leftovers, like Tarzan or Damn Yankees, you know, fine leftovers, but like when you are trying to build a subscriber base and also build a new patron base, if you're not doing like the big titles that people dig up their dead relatives and take their pets to, like you just are kind of dead in the water. So I actually went to the Rights House, one of the Rights Houses that has at the time most of the titles, and was like, listen, you know, our community out here we need to have a we need to have some kind of equality out here, because right now you're basically sinking every other theater company because you're getting these great checks from, you know, another company. And they were like, but well, we need the sound financial, you know, investment, like, because it's all about how much royalty they get, right? So I said, look up show A that I know this company had just done, and I also knew that it had not done well. And so I was like, look up the box office receipts for this show. And they're like, why? And I said, just do it. And so they did. And they're like, oh, wow, this didn't do well at all. And I said, no, because it's not necessarily the company, it's the show that sells, you know, tickets. And so from that moment on, they heard me loud and clear. And I said, if you don't help us, we can't help you. And so now all the rights houses have established a system now that we all get, like, they'll go, okay, they just got this show, so the next company gets this show, so on and so forth. So we all know kind of like what we're all fairly being spread out. And that actually just started really with Kinky Boots was and Mamma Mia then Kinky Boots were our first two big title first runs that we got. Because we did a lot of other shows first, Addams Family, Shrek, etc., but they were not considered Broadway successes. So they were first runs, but they were not a Mamma Mia, they were not a Kinky Boots, you know? So, or, you know, $1 Million Quartet. So now those are being spread out. So now we all we basically go to the Wright's house and we go, what's new that's coming? And then they tell us what we're going to get. So I already know, you know, that what I am going to get that's still on tour right now that we can't announce, but that we know we're going to get it when the tour closes. We know, like, we're going to get Jersey Boys first, as an example. We know there's a lot of, Noah, hello. We know that we're going to get, yeah, boom, right there. We know that there's quite a few shows that we will get, but have to wait. So then we just find out what are those shows going to be, and then what else can complement it, and what else is going to kind of balance it out. The one thing I wish that every actor is always like, why can't you guys organize your seasons so that we all could work like at all the different venues? Like, why do your shows have to overlap? Why do they have to conflict? And unfortunately, those are largely dictated by a lot of our venues are all city run or run by a school, like with the Carpenter Center. So those dates are not usually dictated by us as to when we can do them. So people always think, like, where's the communication? And there just isn't. We have now all, again, because I am such an honest person, and I'm like, they always would be like, oh, we can't tell you when you talk to the Wright's house who's getting whatever show. And I'm like, we all know, like, we all talk to each other. So now we all talk to each other and try to figure out, like, okay, so-and-so is going to do 3D's doing King and I, and we also want to do King and I, but we're not going to do King and I now for another few years or 2 years or whatever it is, because we need to spread it out. So we do converse as much as we possibly can. But yeah, that's kind of how the really uninteresting way that shows are picked.
I think it's very interesting. And, I don't want to gloss over something that was really important for all of you taking note. I said earlier, TJ, I think you are the future of regional musical theater. You're the young man holding the torch and is going to take us through the next few decades. I really do believe that. And what you did was a sign of a very good leader. You advocated for us. You advocated for your company by stepping up to the old guard in the Wright's houses.
But you know why they listened? You know why they listened was because I advocated for every company, which is just exactly like I do.
My point.
Speech. Yeah, I was just like, I'm not fighting for me. I'm fighting for all of us. So yeah.
But but my point is, you're the one who stepped up. And that's your nature, is that you do these things for all of us and for the good of all of us. But it takes a really good leader to think about, how can I raise everybody's profile? How can we because really this game has been played the same for the last 35 years. Yeah. And you would say, well, this is how they dole it out. That's just the way it goes. But you were like, no, it's time to change, but it could be changed and equal for all of us. We can make us all thrive, which in turn gets us all jobs. Well, I make sure that you say in your curtain speech, because if you guys don't see it, I'm doing, you see me like this in the hallway to TJ. Cover this, cover that. It's so important for our audience to know that the nonprofit sector is a huge economic driver for any good local economy. And people come to the show and they don't realize who's benefiting. The babysitter getting paid, the bartender, the parking lot attendant, the valet, the waiter, the restaurant, the bar at the show, all of the designers, the backstage, everybody involved with the production, the musicians are hired for the show. You think about that. There's a lot to that. This is my perspective when it comes to this. So something like that, I don't want to take lightly or just gloss over. It's very, very important.
Yeah, no, it is. What theater does for the economy is so crucial and so important, just live entertainment in general. So it's definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we all know, because we all are family. We all know what it means to in our heart and what it means to our quality of life. But we have to remind people that it is. I tell people, because I do go out in the community and talk to other businesses, and they go, "Oh, how nice you guys sing and dance." Yeah. And I go, well, we are a company like any other company. We have, we have to follow the rules. We have employees. We have independent contractors. We're a business like any other, only there's a lot more, oh my God, I love you, and hugs. Compared to maybe some other businesses. But it's really important for everybody to know the importance of that. Okay, so TJ Dawson, let's open up and see if anybody has some questions for you in the room. All right, raise your hand. This is your time. You can ask anything you want. Holden. Okay, there you go.
I have a question, TJ. If ticket sales and budget were not a problem at all, what show would you love to direct that you have not had the opportunity to?
Oh my gosh. Next to Normal. So bad. I'd love to do Next to Normal. I love the shows like Gypsy is another one I'd love to do. Mame is a one. I mean, there's some of the older shows that don't get done often I'd love, but I am all about, I love a good comedy, but I am all about
I want him to do Me and My Girl.
Me and My Girl. Yes, Me and My Girl. I love that show. I was in that show, directed by Jamie Torcellini with some of the original Broadway. It was so amazing. Anyway, I love that show. Yeah, God, that's a hard question because that's like pick your favorite star in the sky. You know what I mean? And I have had so many amazing opportunities because I am the whole thing. Like, so starting 3D, tying into your question, was because I was trying to be a director, and I had gotten as far as I could get at the level I was at. I was the very first non-union production to be reviewed by Backstage West at the time when that was like the big deal. And we were up against the Wicked National Tour for the Garland Awards. It was like a big thing at the time. And that was my first production of Sideshow that I did. And I was trying to knock on the doors of everyone here in Southern California. And again, this is a different time, so this is different, but it was harder to reach out of state or even to think about reaching out of state, especially at my age. I was just trying to work locally and with the contacts that I had established or thought that would help me. And I was the kid that was in their show. You know, I was the one that they gave his first equity show to, or whatever the case may be. And I was never going to be, in their eyes, someone that could actually run a room. And so I had to decide to create my own opportunity, which is what so many people are doing now with the online format. That's how so many people have become now celebrities, by creating their own opportunity and their own content. And for me, I so desperately wanted to participate in art. And I was also, as an actor, I'm so specific. Nick knows nothing about this. I'm so specific that it was like work was feast or famine, and it was like I would go into an audition room and I'd be one of 3 people like me instead of a leading man who's going to be one of many, or a leading lady or whatever. But I was either too old, not old enough, too fat, not fat enough, too tall, not tall enough, whatever it was. I was just my baby face that is now starting to not be a baby face was a blessing and a curse. I just, I would go I was down to the final 3 for Avenue Q on Broadway and in Vegas and the national tour so many times. And Cindy Tolan kept pulling me in. We love you, we love you, we love you, we love you. And I was like, but why aren't you hiring me? And finally my agent, got the answer, and they're like, well, the team, like all the higher ups, they're like, they really like him, which is why they keep bringing him in, but he doesn't look like he's turning 33. One line in the opening number. I didn't get that job. And I was like, I'm not going to look like I'm 33 when I am 33. So let us stop wasting our time. And I stopped going in, and I had the same kind of thing with Malcolm in the Middle. I was going in for that all the time. They're like, God, we love your reads, but how old are you? My agent told me to tell them I was 18, which I was not. And they were like, well, best read we've had all day, and then read between the lines, you're too old. So it was just a lot. I read opposite Tom Hanks for a movie. I was down to the final 2 for Lady Killers with him, and they went in a totally different direction. I was down to the final 2 for a movie opposite Billy Bob Thornton, but they went with a guy who lived on location. And the same thing with the Dumb and Dumber prequel, which I was so sad to not be in. They went with, again, a guy who lived on location. So I was like callback king, but not booking. And I was like, how do I keep involved in our industry? And I remembered from high school my passion for directing, and so I dove into that because my there was a piece of me in all aspects of the show, and I felt so connected, and I was okay to not have the glory that so many actors love about being on stage. I mean, we all love that to a degree, or we wouldn't do it. There's a thrill that is there's a thrill that comes along with that. But I was okay to watch my show, get the glory, and the people get the glory, and me to be in the audience or whatever. So it was a big transitional moment for me. And then, so I created 3D to create opportunity for myself and for others like me. People who can't get yes. And people who, oh, Isaac's here. Hey, Isaac. Can you have an Oreo? Oh my gosh. Later, after you eat real food. Okay, sorry. So, at home office, got a parent all at the same time.
It's the age of Zoom.
That's
Zoom,
right.
Zoom.
So yeah, so I wanted 3D to be a place where I could bring in name people, and then also people that are no names but amazing at what they do and just can't get the door to open. And I've been really proud to be able to do that on all aspects. I've helped launch actors' careers, both regionally and also then them going on to amazing Broadway shows because of the reels that they've been able to get from our stuff. Or I've helped directors the same way, like David Vaughn, a dear friend, and I know mutual friend of many of you on here, especially Noah, boo, came to direct for us, has directed 5 shows for us. And then now, because he knows our Shrek package, is direct Shrek like at Pittsburgh and Moonlight and all over the place. And so I've watched that dream that I had kind of start to become a reality. And it goes on down with every job within 3D, where we are now shifting our direction, even with our marketing team, and bringing on a new person that wanted the opportunity and is going to kill it and do an amazing job. So that's kind of why I started. And so I have had, because of that, I've gotten to direct a lot of my dream shows. I've gotten to bring it back full circle. I've gotten to do that. But there are definitely some, like Next to Normal and some of those, that I have not gotten to tackle yet that I would love. So great question, long answer. Okay.
Well, that's okay. I mean, but it goes to show, if you want something bad enough, if somebody isn't making the opportunity happen, you got to go out there and make it yourself. You guys.
Yeah, I mean, South Coast Rep is a Tony Award-winning regional theater company that started literally out of the trunk of someone's car. They went to the beach, and they went to parks, and they put on shows literally out of the trunk of their car. And now they are a Tony Award-winning mega complex company that is, like Center Theater Group. Those are both regional theater nonprofits, but people don't think of them that way. But they're just like 3D or MTW or MRE. They're just,
they wish.
They're huge. Yeah. So it's weird to think about, but I mean, like, yeah, you don't need, every situation is different. How I did it and how my family did it is different than how Steve Glaudini got to now do it, or how Paul Garman got to do it, or how Tom and Kathy got to do it, or how SCR did it. It's different, a different journey for anyone, but no one should tell you you can't, because that's what, and if they do, have it fuel you, because it's exactly what it did for me, and use that to go, excuse my French, but I can do it, and I'm going to do it, because it's been the fuel of every single day that every single thing that happens for us, I make sure to push back on good karma on those people. I talk about them in my curtain speech. I genuinely wish goodwill onto each and every person, but it's also kind of like, remember when you didn't hire me? Whoops. No. So no, it's, but then it's also like, now, amazing I've been hired to, now I'm directing at McCoy Rigby. They're dear friends, have always been dear friends. They're definitely not a part of what I'm talking about, but we have a genuine collaboration with each other. That is what I wish all of Southern California had, a sense of community like that. So yeah, it's.
Well, and I'm sorry I have gardeners out there, but you've supplied so many great opportunities for people. And like, from wanting to have this experience for yourself, you're creating it for other people, and it's affecting their lives and the trajectory of their life. So on behalf of all those people, all of us that are lucky enough to be around you, and the environment that you've created at 3D Theatricals for all of us and all the different gifts that we bring, it's just such a pleasure. Okay, are you ready for rapid fire questions for you?
Oh my God! Wait, is there any other?
Notes.
Are there any other questions from Aaron?
Aaron.
What's up? Oh, hold on. Oh my gosh.
Stop it.
There
Let
you
me
go. Stop it. Okay, you're good.
I didn't touch anything.
Okay.
I was wondering if there's any sort of strategy when you're putting together a season on like choosing shows with big casts versus small casts.
Oh, good question. There is now. There is all about, is it going to sell? Is it not going to sell? Sadly, the days of us doing things like Sideshow, Parade, The Secret Garden are over for a good chunk of time.
Mm-hmm.
And those were my favorite things to do. But so now it's all about money and budget, and is it going to sell or not, or have the potential to sell? That's what it's all about now, unfortunately. So yeah. That's, and we always do try to make sure that there's at least one show in a season that is on the smaller side to help kind of balance things out. That was obviously our $1 million quartet. Always Patsy Cline. We've done several shows that are on the smaller side that help shows like Parade or Ragtime, or, be able to be produced. When we did Ragtime, we had like 52 people in it. It was massive. And it was, Oklahoma. Oklahoma. But now in Ragtime, everybody was paid. Oklahoma, we had a like 16 youth ensemble volunteer cast that made it like, it was like 60 some odd people. It was massive. Yeah, I know. Nick, who is involved in that craziness.
It could have been literally its own town.
It was literally, it was its own small town.
42nd Street was huge too.
42nd Street was huge. That is a giant show. Now with AB5 and all of that too, the costs of everything have gone over doubled in payroll and stuff, which is great because we started doing that before AB5. We were, as of I think Secret Garden, we started paying everybody minimum wage and such, and we were glad to be leading the charge on that. And then AB5 happened, and then everyone now has to do it. But that means that unfortunately the days of doing something like a Ragtime with 52 people in it, I don't know how that could happen, even though my mom wants to revive that show so bad. She's like, you have to do it with Isaac. And I was like, I would lose my mind. But it's definitely all money related. It's a great question. Any other questions from anybody? Nick, Morgan, Noah?
I have a question. It's very gripping and it's very important. And I figure this is the forum to ask it in. I've had your blue velvet suit jacket in my closet for almost 6 months. Do I now get to keep this?
I forgot about that. No.
I'm out of here. We're leaving. That's fine.
Oh my gosh.
Had
you not reminded me, I wouldn't have remembered.
I knew it.
I love it. Oh no, you hold on to it. You need to do a photo shoot around the house in that.
Woo!
Yeah, I love that I have a friend I can share clothes with. That's my favorite. Yeah.
It's the best.
Any other questions that are not about clothing I've lent you? No. Oh yeah, Brittany.
Hey.
Hi.
For sharing this this information and just like sharing your heart and everything. This is just wonderful to listen in on. Dream role for you. What is your
Oh man. Yeah, wow. I haven't thought about that in so long. It actually makes me like almost emotional even just to think about it, because I don't really do it anymore. I think that I would love to be anybody in Come From Away. I would love to which we are going to be doing, by the way. I won't be in it, but I will definitely be directing it. And that's again, like when we can come back. But anyway.
Colden just passed out. Wait,
yeah.
make sure he's okay. All right.
Anyone can cover, I would love to play, a lot of the parts I'd want to play, I would probably never play because people don't type them this way, but I would love to play the dad in either Dear Evan Hansen or in One Day, I'm not old enough yet, but or in Next to Normal. I just love like now being a parent, like getting to like play a parent on stage. There is a distinct difference watching people. I know Noah is a parent in here, and I know like you can't explain what it's like to be a parent unless you're a parent. And so playing a parent is so different. Like people who are just will approach it in such a different way. And so to get to play, I think a parent would be really cool, and I've never gotten to do that. So those two roles came to mind. But oh, Jeanette says hello. But yeah, so that's a good question, and I had not. Those were just like off the cuff answers because I honestly haven't thought about it in so long. But and I honestly, this is another weird thing about me. I don't listen to show tunes unless I'm working on the show, because yeah, or if Isaac wants to listen to it, yes. But yeah, I don't honestly listen to show tunes very much, except for the Dear Evan Hansen and Come From Away or things. If they come on, I'll let them play because they're just currently or Bandstand. Oh man, if I played an instrument, Bandstand. But anyway, yeah, those are some shows that are coming down the pipeline. And Dream Roll, I'm gonna have to keep thinking on that. But those are the ones that came to mind. Good question, thanks, Brittany. And it's been amazing to see your face. It's so funny, like we've never met in person, and now I've seen you on here. Alex, I've met, but seeing you guys and Christy, everyone on here, like every day is. I feel like I now have developed this relationship with you guys. So now when we get to see each other, I can't wait to like actually give you a hug and just be like, welcome. But yeah, Faith. Oh, I said Dear Evan Hansen. To clarify, Dear Evan Hansen is not been announced who's going to be doing that show yet because no one has actually even acquired the rights. None of the rights houses have that show yet. So no one knows who is going to be doing that show. You best believe I will be campaigning my booty off. I know Anastasia is one that we're hopefully going to be doing first. We have a lot of relationships with the people that are involved and they want us to do it, but we don't have word on that yet either. So anyway, lots of fun shows. Hopefully we'll be all starting all of those things starting February of next year. Any other questions from anyone before we rapid fire and start wrapping it up? You guys are so awesome for hanging out with me. Yeah, Noah, what's up?
What's up? How are you?
I'm good, man. I miss you. How are you?
I miss you too.
Good.
I'm just wondering, I mean, obviously this is a love and a passion and you obviously love it, and just how stressful. I was approached about opening like a musical theater like school here in Vegas.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I'm still like so busy and so already doing other things. Like how stressful is it? Even though obviously everything is stressful, can be stressful, but do you let that get to you? How do you hang on when it is stressful? Running the business, obviously being on the shows and being creative is a love and a passion for hopefully all of us.
That's such a great question because I think so many people get into the business for the creative part and then they forget there's like the business part. And
well, that's like kind of what you just said of like wanting to do these shows that unfortunately now it has to be about selling tickets to make sure that the business stays open so that people can be creative, so that you can
exactly.
Unfortunately, you gotta make those hard choices.
Yeah, exactly. Providing and then just looking at. I'm luckily a glasses half full person, but I surround myself with equal parts glasses half full and glasses half empty person. Like I have a person in a couple people in my office I call Chicken Little because the sky is always falling. But it's like I love that because it's also it helps balance things out. And so the team that I have, I also surround myself with people that are not afraid to always tell me what is on their mind truthfully, and I respect it even if it's going to upset me or whatever it is, because I spend most of my time with people blowing smoke up my butt because they want opportunity or whatever the case may be, and or you just always question, unfortunately, when you're in a position like you will be in when you can provide someone opportunity. I usually am a pretty good judge of character, and I can tell when someone's genuinely interested in developing a relationship with me where there's no strings attached. But anyway, I think having my team like that has really helped ground me and balance me out. And I am always looking at the positive, and I'm also a really pretty chill person. There's only been a couple of times where I have lost it, and one time was during Sideshow. The actors, there was a half-hour pre-show to the show that would involve just people coming out, and they were in character, and they're all getting on the bleachers, and it was all timed as to what minute each person would come out, and then the last person came out, sat down, and the show started. And oh, thank you, Keegan, thank you. I lost because the crew, we got into, and it was the night of B-roll being filmed. So it was the night before we opened, and we get into the lighting, and I'm like, something's off. And then all the specials are not picking up people. And I realized the crew had preset the bleachers all off, and they were in their second spike. And so we had to stop and reset. And it was the only time, because we had been telling the actors, because they were so concerned they were not going to get a run through that included the pre-show, so they knew what that felt like emotionally and physically and all of that, without stopping. And it was our last opportunity and our only time we had attempted it, and we had to stop. And I lost my and I felt so bad afterwards, but I was like, what a colossal waste of time. And like the crew was just like, and because I never explode, I'm like, if anyone knows me, like people are like, how do you keep so calm? Because everyone during Tech Week is like, you know what I mean? Like, and I always tell people, like, before we go into a Tech Week, I'm like, if you come to me stressed out about the way you look in a costume or about how your wig looks on you, that means you are not trusting me that I'm going to see that. And I'm not going to let you look a fool on stage, because that makes me look like a fool. So, however, I will make you think that I think that wig looks amazing on you, and I will make you wear it, because it just means you are coming up to me and telling me that I don't know what I'm doing, because you're like, hi, have you seen this wig yet? What are your thoughts? And I'm like, do you not think that we have maybe a million other things going on right now? And yes, we'll get to your wig, but maybe it's not about you in this moment. So
you're just like, Nick, your wig looks great.
Yes, yes. So yeah, I think honestly, like I just try to keep as zen as possible. And I just try to remember that what we're doing is important. What we're doing is important because it is making the world a better place for a period of time, a moment in time where helping people forget about their troubles, or if we're doing a drama, reminding them that can always be worse, right? So however, we are not in an OR. We are not literally saving someone's life. We are not on the front lines. We are not in the military. We are not a police officer. We are doing a skit for money. We're getting paid to do it, and we're getting paid to have fun with each other and do what we love and create. So I try to take it seriously, but I also don't take it so serious that I forget what we're doing. You know what I mean? And I think that I try to create so that when people do work for me, they understand I have their back, and I'm going to make sure that they look good. I'm going to make sure that they are seen and heard and respected, and that there isn't a question when I don't need to go out to TJ in the house right now and show him my wig, because I know that if it doesn't happen today, it will happen tomorrow. And sure enough, it establishes a trust. And that's why I feel like the fish rots from the head, right? So and I know it's an old expression, but I feel like if I were to go around stressed out and living that on the outside and not figuring out how to deal with that. And that's like, whether that's a massage, whether that's yoga, whether that's meditation, or crying to someone on someone's shoulder, like your best friend, bringing it, it's always that we tell people to leave it at the door. And, you know, if I didn't leave it at the door, then I feel like the fish would rot from the head and it would just spiral down. So I just do my best to keep calm and keep positive. And yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah.
Answered it. Well, you are just amazing. Isn't he just the best?
Gigi, you're Stu. I love you. You're so
okay,
sweet.
I'm going to ask you a couple of rapid fire questions. We're going to wrap it up. Okay? All right. If you could play a role, female role, Broadway musical, which one would it be?
Ooh. A tie probably between Mama Rose and Ursula in Little Mermaid.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Best Broadway musical made into a movie.
Oh.
Better say Cats.
The answer is Gigi. And you're out of time.
Cats. No.
Gigi. That's the one. That's
Oh,
the right
Gigi.
answer.
There you go.
That's the correct answer.
It's in the Heights. You just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
True. There you go.
Okay,
There you go.
hey, you know what? Listen, I'm muting you. You've had your time. It's Gigi time.
She just called you.
Okay. Red or white?
What?
Red or white wine?
Oh, depends on what I'm eating, but I gravitate towards white because red makes me sleepy.
All right. Favorite fictional character from a book?
Gigi, you didn't prepare me for this shit.
That's the point.
I pass. Sorry.
Okay.
I know.
Best movie. Favorite movie.
Oh God. This is hard. I love movies, you guys. Oh my gosh, this is hard.
Ding, 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 ding.
I'm horrible at
ding,
this game. I'm
ding.
horrible at this
Okay.
game.
You are. The correct answer is The Godfather. Okay.
I've never seen it.
Everybody.
Never seen it. I've never seen it. I know. I need to do that.
What?
I know.
I don't even know how to process that information. I think I could quote it verbatim from the beginning to end. Okay, we'll have to change that. Well, listen, this has been a great session. TJ, thank you so much for sharing with us these insights, how you've started the company. We love you.
Thank you.
And because of you, we've all been able to, and thank you for providing the 3D+U sessions while we're in this lockdown and looking out for everybody. It's just a beautiful thing, just like you are. Like I said, I just am so proud and honored to work for you and stand behind you as you lead us into the future. And the future is going to be an interesting place. So I'm glad I'm on your team.
Thank you. And we are definitely, we're trying to figure out what that is, everybody. So we're working on it, taking suggestions. But yeah, and we know 3D+U is going to definitely be a big part of it while we move forward. And we figure out what we're going to evolve what 3D+U is, because this literally, it got developed on a Friday and launched on a Monday. So it was like fast and furious, and we've had a really good time. But we're going to, in June, I just texted everyone yesterday going, I think we need to take like a week or two where we just do like 2 days a week so we can actually figure out what we're doing. So so coming in June, there'll probably be a little bit of a slightly different shift in schedule, just so that we can
play the best of. We've had some amazing sessions.
Yeah, we'll replay some sessions, and we'll still have some new classes and live classes and stuff during that time. But yeah, we're just trying to figure out what we are, you know what I mean? And like everyone's trying to figure that out right now, and how we stay relevant and keeping everyone together and creative and positive and all that. So thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for your support, and you guys are amazing. So thank you. And always, by the way, like I am a open book. If you ever need anything, if you ever have a question, if you ever need me to go to bat for you, if you need a letter for something or whatever, especially if we have a personal relationship, or if I know your work or something, like I'm there for you. I got you. And you can always reach out to me if you have a question, if you want to ask me about, if I know you know, if you're auditioning for something and you need any advice, whatever it is, like I am always out to help artists.
You're so sweet. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you, TJ, for your time.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.